question. Dave, I'm going to give you the background. There's three kinds of courts of Jewish law. You have a court of 3 members, you have a court of 23 members, you have a court of 71 members. 71, there's only one. It was in Sanhedrin for many of the years, right? We know that had a responsibility of safeguarding tradition, right, etc. They moved because they were kicked out. The Romans kicked out. Eventually, they were disbanded. You have to write down the Mishnah we spoke about. You have courts of 3, of 23, and 71. And there's differences between what a court of 3 talks about and what a court of 23 talks about. Court of 3 talks about any monetary loss, right? I say, Dave, you owe me $100, and I have evidence to prove it. I bring you to a court of 3 people, right? Things that are of monetary nature are done in front of a court of 3 people. Things that are of capital crime, right? Life and death. I say someone, you killed someone, you be punished by death. That has to be tried with a court of 23.
Not 71.
No. 71 is for other things. It's maintaining the truth of tradition and adding on to Jerusalem and a few other things. Making the ear any dachas. Now, court of 23, we have a life and death case in front of us. So our job is to try to get the guy off the hook. That's what it is. The Torah tells us, V'shavzu ha'eda, that they should, V'yitzilu ha'eda, they should try to save him. That's their goal. Why? Because we don't want to make mistakes. How many times in America have they killed someone and then they find DNA evidence? We don't take any of these chances. If there's any reason that we could find to try to get the guy off the hook, we'll do that, and that's our responsibility. And therefore, you'll see the Mishnah, the Mishnah at the end of the first chapter of Makros. The Mishnah says that one of the opinions of the Mishnah says that a court of law of 23 people that kills once every 77 years, they're being too strict. They have blood on their hands. They're not working hard enough in their responsibility to make sure they get the guy off the hook. And the second opinion of the Mishnah says that a court of law that kills once every 70 years is not working hard enough to get the guy off the hook. The idea is that we're trying to not rule that the guy is liable to be killed. Okay, that's our responsibility. Being that it is so, there are many pieces of law that are in place to ensure or to try to accommodate that we do not kill someone. For example, what Susan mentioned, that there's an overnight. If we rule today 22-1 that the guy is liable, we don't kill him today. Even though normally, there's no death row in Judaism. Once the judgment's in, then the punishment is done that day usually. For capital crime, there has to be an overnight. We have to all take it overnight and think it over and try to find a reason to get the guy off the hook. That's part of the laws. And if I voted yesterday that the guy is not guilty, I can no longer vote that he's guilty. But if I voted that he's guilty, I can certainly vote to make him not guilty.
The next day.
Another one of these laws is that you have to have a little more than a majority. If it's just 12-11 to guilty, not enough. You have to have at least a majority of 2, so you need to have 13-10. As opposed to the guy off the hook, 12-11 not guilty is enough. Right? Many examples. Now, we vote the guy's guilty. We have to sleep on it overnight. We have to fast. If we vote the guy guilty, we have to fast, not eat. We have to go together in groups, try to come up with something, try to find a way to make the guy guilty. Not guilty, I apologize. We grill the witnesses to such a degree to try to trip them up, try to make them make a mistake, try to get them to contradict each other. We ask them questions that are not relevant at all. Was it a cloudy day? Was it not cloudy day? Oh, it was next to a tree. What was it? Was it an apple tree or a pomegranate tree? And once they disagree, we throw the case out. That was us as a group of judges. We're trying to trip them up to try to get them to contradict each other and to make a mistake. Yeah. One of the laws, what Dave mentioned, is that if it's 23-0, the guy's off the hook. Ask David if it's 23-0. David's question. This is all the introduction. David's question is: if it's 23-0, the guy goes off the hook. So the answer to this question is that if we're a competent court of law, we could certainly find reasons at least to have one person be a dissenting opinion. At least to have one person. It means you have to find a way to trip up the witnesses, or to ask questions, or to try to find reasons why, from a Torah's perspective, the guy should be not guilty. If we're a competent court of law, there's no reason why at least one person of the 23 should find the guy not guilty. If it's unanimous, it shows that these people are not doing their job properly. Mistrial. We declare mistrial. The guy cannot be punished. That's the answer to your question.
To me, that makes no sense.
Well, think about it this way. Think about it this way. If you want to kill someone, right? We have a murderer, right? A murderer. He killed someone with 2 kosher witnesses. They warned him beforehand, right? And he killed him. He's not liable to be killed. Why not? Because he has to say, it has to be, you warned me to do it, and I say, no, even though you warned me to do it, I'm still doing it. That has to be the kind of situation. It has to be the guy says, oh, you say I'm not allowed to do it, and if I do it, I get killed? I'm going to do it anyhow. And that all has to be within 2.5 seconds of when when he was warned. It's so unlikely to actually have a case where the witnesses are good, the situation is good, the story is good, the reasonings are fine, we can't find a way to get the guy off the hook. It's so unlikely. If we can't even find one guy to find one reason that the guy is not guilty, you're not competent. And if you're not competent, you can't put a guy to death. Think about it. You warn someone, don't kill him. And right away he kills them, guy's not guilty. He has to say, oh, no, I'm killing him anyhow. Even though you say I shouldn't kill him, and even though you say if I kill him, I'm going to get killed. And let's say we warn him, we say, don't kill him, if you kill him, you get killed. And the guy says, you know what? I'm going to kill him, and I don't care what you say. And he waits 10 seconds, and then he kills him. He's not guilty. It has to be within 2.5 seconds. It has to be like that. It has to be bang, bang. We warn him, we say, don't kill him, you kill me, you get killed. And he says, I don't care what you say, I'm killing him, and kills him right away. It's so unlikely to have all the qualifications in place that he should be found not guilty. That if you can't even find one of the 23, that
somebody like the guy in Colorado, we saw what he did. Everybody saw what he did.
What court are you talking about that would be doing this? Because it would be
Sanhedrin.
a U.S. court.
No, I'm talking.
Yeah, exactly. I know, but yeah, I understand that. But is that only going to take place in Israel, or is that
The only time that the Jewish law is in force is when Jews have sovereignty over Israel and the Sanhedrin is in place in the temple. So that's not in the United States, and it's not now when the Jewish law is not the governing information that governs the law of the land.
To me, it would lead to 20, or I say 23 people, 22 say guilty. I'm the 23rd person. Okay, not guilty.
Well, you can't do that.
Well, what's going to stop you from doing that?
Well, what's going to stop you is that you won't be nominated to be a judge to begin with, because the people that were nominated to be a judge to begin with are the ones that follow their conscience. You can't just say, oh, I know he's guilty, and because I know he's guilty, I'm going to vote not guilty. You can't do that. If you're really, really competent enough, find a reason that they could find the guy off the hook. Now, people have a problem with this whole idea. And I'll tell you, people's problem is because we live in a land of murderers, where there's murders happening every day. And how many people we know, especially now, there's lots of talk about the gun violence, whatever. And how many murders are there in America? There's thousands upon thousands of murders in America. The time that they existed in, it was more likely to have someone be framed than to have an actual murder. Yeah, it's different times, So it's the reason why we have such a bad taste in the mouth when I told you what the law is because we live in a society where there's lots of bad people and we want those bad people punished. Okay. The society that they lived in, it wasn't like that. And I'll reassure you a little bit by telling y'all that if someone was tried for murder, He's tried for murder, and there's so much evidence that he did it. We just can't nail him to it for one of these silly reasons. Silly, not silly, but because of a technical reason. So murderers are treated differently on Jewish law than any other people that get capital punishment, and we in effect kill them, but we don't actually kill them. Let's say someone's a murderer, and he has 2 kosher witnesses, and everything's fine, and just that they disagreed as to what color tree was there, what color leaves were there next to the place where the guy committed the act of crime. So that's something they tripped up. These are 2 kosher witnesses that are telling the truth, but we know they tripped up. We still put the guy in jail, and we still find a way to kill him in a circumventual way. So yes, we don't have murderers roaming the street because of this specific reason. We don't have murderers roaming the street, but we don't want to be the ones to do it. That's the idea. So if someone is a murderer, right?
Who's the we?
We as in the Jewish law.
So we don't do it. We send it out and we
No.
contract somebody else.
No, we
to do
don't
it?
contract.
No, we have a hitman.
That's a,
Yeah. So no, we don't. No, we don't kill him. But there's no murderers
Jewish
roaming the street.
concept.
There's
call the mafia.
yeah. There's the idea of having
Mendel.
of having murderers roam the street is not is untenable in yes.
So much stuff that's different now, isn't it?
Yeah, but you
Any
know
other
what?
questions?
You have a lot.
No, let somebody else ask.